Yeah. All right, all right, all right. We are live on the live and we are live and kicking. I hope you guys are ready to roll. Hope you are ready to roll with us right now because we are on the live with a very uh, hot topic, right? All right, so let's hit our bell and make sure that we are having fun right now. My goodness, my goodness, my goodness. Yeah. We are here on the live and we got interesting guests today. And so we are going to do justice to the show today. And as I said, we have some guests because we can't just talk about this without involving some people. All right, so I'm trying to make sure that all our guests are situated in our green room. I think we lost one video. Mr. Kobe, if you are hearing us on the live, see if you can adjust your camera or something because you are dark on the screen right now. And
Yeah.
the rest are here hanging out quietly and ready to roll. And so, before we do that, let me just make sure that I got this one right. All right, all right. You got to come close. Yeah, there he comes. I think Kobe is on alive now. Let's see. All right, he is on the green room now. Let's sign Kobe number 3. I think his camera. Yeah, we can see you. We can see you a little bit. I don't know if there is any change to your setting, but I can see you. We see when I put you on, I'll be able to tell more. So, but before that, we just want to hit our show outline and see what we got for you today. If you are watching us, I want you to hit the like button and click the share button and make sure that other people are watching. All right. When you come close. All right. All right. All right. Yeah. So today we have, as I said, a wonderful show, but because we have a way of going about things, we want to go first through our outline, right? We just don't go straight to the point. We want to hang around while you guys share, you click the like and the thumbs up and get people on for now. But before that, as I said, we want to hit on the things that we do first. So we want to do the last show review. The last show review is uh, last week I think we talked about two things. Um, the first one, um, the first one is yeah, Kobe. You can leave and rejoin. I see your. I think my mic went off. Okay, yeah, you can leave and rejoin. We are here. So the last week we discussed two interesting things. For the first time, we did two live shows. Come close or I come back. Yeah. All right. I want to make sure that my wife's face is not blurred. All right. So last week we did two live shows, and the first one we talked about how to overcome poverty. I mean, that's what we've been talking about all the time: how to overcome poverty, and we talked specifically about creating wealth using your talents. Creating wealth using your talents. That's the first thing that we discussed, and we also after that, I think the following day we did that on Sunday, and the following day we actually talked about my own experience, how I have overcome poverty, what I do, or what I did uh, on a personal level to overcome poverty. I was, just making sure that I was going as far as possible to my own experience because sometimes when you talk about stuff, it sounds like theory. It's not practical. So I try to use my own life's experience to describe how I overcame poverty. And so that's what we are going to do. We're going to make sure that we are able to continue in that same line. Uh, Kobe, I think your mic is muted or you have muted yourself, but keep doing it until we finish the intro. And then the next one we also talked about. Yeah, so we did that show we did together, the
The
creating wealth.
talent
And
one.
then my own experience, I came
You did it
alone. I
alone.
did it alone. Yeah, because obviously she wasn't around, so I had to do it all myself. So today we are on the live and we have some interesting young people who are going to join us. But again, before we hit that, we know that as we do on this show, we always want to talk to you about some health tips. We don't want to just be one way. So as much as we try and talk about the other stuff concerning your training, your wealth, and all that, we also want to make sure that we don't forget the health aspect, because what is life without health? If you cannot enjoy what you make, then obviously it's not going to be any useful going to college or making money or overcoming poverty. So that was one other thing that we introduced into the show. So today we are talking about the health tip for the week. So for the whole week, beginning the day of Christmas, we are talking to you about the importance of vitamin D. In fact, we're going to reveal or show a full video that talks about the importance of vitamin D. But today we're just going to talk about two of them, and also how you can make sure that you can have vitamin D in sufficient amounts to get the benefits. So welcome on board. The first one, you want to go for the first one? Or?
So, like around this time, we know we are not getting a lot of sunshine, or even if the sun is out, we are not outside because it's cold. So, a lot of people become vitamin D deficient around this time. So, I think it's very important that we take this seriously so that we can supplement, because it's known that it can cause a lot of depression if you're low in vitamin D, and skin disorder. And we've also know it's also been known that it boosts your immune system. With COVID around and flu all around us, we have to make sure that the vitamin D level is right on point. So we are encouraging people to supplement. If you know that you're not getting outside a lot, your diet is not that great, we are encouraging each one of us to supplement with vitamin D.
All right. And what I will also add to that is that vitamin D levels, lower vitamin D levels, have been known to be linked with depression. So a lot of people get depressed, and because of depression, um, you know, a lot of people cannot do all the things that they have to do. So coming through this year, the new year we are going to face, we want to make sure that depression is tackled and fought against. And one of the best ways to overcome depression is to ensure that you have sufficient vitamin D levels. All right, sufficient vitamin D levels. I'm telling you, it doesn't take a lot to get vitamin D levels on the high way. But if you don't take it, you will miss it. Like Gifty said, especially in the colder regions, you can barely go outside, especially in this school. Today, in my area, I think it was 13 degrees when we were leaving the house. It probably warmed up a little bit, but I'm talking about 13 degrees Fahrenheit. If you bring that to Celsius or centigrade, you can just imagine. And so nobody's going to venture outside. And because we are not hitting the sunlight, we get vitamin D when the sun hits our skin. Because we are not hitting the sunlight, we cannot definitely get the uh, enough quantities that we need to be able to get our levels high. And so depression is high, especially in the colder regions over here. So Kobe, hang tight, don't leave. I'm going to sort that out as soon as we come to the joint. So make sure that your vitamin D levels are on point. That is all we want to tell you about. Your vitamin D levels must be on point, because without vitamin D, you can get depressed. And there's a bunch of other things that vitamin D also can help with. But unfortunately, because of time, we're not going to be able to talk about all that. We just want to tell you that for now, just take it from us. If you don't know your vitamin D levels are high enough, supplement. And your supplement, when you supplement vitamin D, you don't need much. You don't need maybe 1,000 to 2,000 units, which is about 25 micrograms to 50 micrograms per day, is all you need. But if you don't have it, depression can attack you. And if you're already depressed and you don't know how your depression came, look into it. maybe this might be a way to overcome your depression. So that's your health tip for the week. All right, all right, all right, all right, all right. So, you want to add anything before we
Oh,
go?
we're good.
All right. So that is it. Now we are going to go to today's show, and I'm going to be trying to link, show all my guests on screen, see if everybody is up. So bear with me as I try that. All right. I think my guest number three's camera hasn't shown yet. Let's see if I can still find Kobe guest. There we go. I got you. Right. I got Kobe now. All right. So let me do a little bit of introduction before we proceed with the discussion. So once again, I want to thank you for availing yourself to be on the live today. We are very, very, very grateful to you all. And I see, we are already seeing some thumbs up
Thumbs
and
up.
some likes on the show. Make sure you click the show, the like button, and make sure that everybody is joining. You guys on the live, even the guests, you can also share it because we want to make sure that nobody misses it. All right, thanks again. All right, so I'm just not to make mistakes. I'm just going to make you introduce yourselves so that our guests will know who you all are, and hopefully, as you do, I'll make sure that your sound is good. All right, so start from my extreme left, which is going to be Bridget, and then we'll go in that order. So yes, introduction, please.
Hi, my name is Bridget Norte. Do you need any more info or just name?
Yeah, more.
Okay.
Or please tell us more. Where you going to college and
Okay.
what you doing now? Any pertinent information? Yes.
Okay, great. Yeah. So I graduated from the University of Virginia in May of this year, and I'm currently a graduate student at Tufts University, where I am pursuing my master's and educational specialist degree in school psychology.
All right. All right. All right. All right. All right. Let's give it up for Miss Bridget Norte. All right. All right. All right. All right. Next person, please. Can you introduce yourself?
Hello, my name is Edith Ting. I am a current senior at the University of Pennsylvania, studying biology, minoring in chemistry, and hoping to pursue medical school in the near future.
Edith, somebody just typed that they couldn't hear you. Can you be a little louder on the live? Yes.
Should I repeat or is
Yes,
good?
please. Mhm.
Okay, my name is Edith Ting. I'm a current senior at the University of Pennsylvania. I'm majoring in biology, minoring in chemistry, and I'm hoping to pursue medical school in the future.
All right. Let's give it up for Miss Edith Ortain too. All right, let's move on to my only gentleman on the show.
Right, right. Hello, everyone. My name is Kobe Apia. I graduated from Southern Connecticut State University in 2020 with my degree in psychology with a concentration in mental health. Right now, I work in the field of applied behavioral analysis as a registered behavioral technician, hoping to go to school in the future to get my master's degree in behavioral analysis to become a board certified behavioral analyst.
Wow, come on, give it up for Kobe on the live. All right. Kobe, I just want you to sit a little bit towards your left. I need you to be in the center of my shot. Yes, like that. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. You know, your brother is still learning here, so I can move you like some professionals can do. All right, all right. So we want to give it up for all of our guests. We thank you so much for being on the live, and hopefully we can have an interesting conversation now. All right, so we have some questions. I don't know if you guys even tried. I'm just going to pull my mic back so I can relax a little bit. I don't know if you guys have watched our previous show. We had a show in which we talked about whether or not college is overrated. And the two of us, we shared our own opinion. But we figured that it wasn't a good enough opinion because we didn't have recent grads on the live and students who are also on to bring their own opinion because we are both working grads. We wanted, and somebody said older grads, right? we are not sure if we are actually representing the truth out there. So we want to make sure that this show, even though same title, we have you guys on board and have you say your opinion because if anything has changed, you would know better than we do. So once again, we thank you for coming on the live and just want to start. And our first question, if you want to give, do you want to give him the first question?
Yes. So the first question we have here for you guys is, why did you decide to go to college? Why did you decide to go to college?
And we can take it from any direction, whoever is ready first. But all of you are going to help us answer that question anyway.
All right. All right. I can go first.
Thank you.
Well, I went to a technical high school in which I studied heating and ventilation and air conditioning. So typical students that go to a technical high school usually aren't focused on college or anything like that. So that was more so pushing from my mom that she didn't want me to go to the regular high school in my town. So I did that, but through doing that, although it was good to learn the trade, I knew the trade necessarily wasn't for me. So I always knew that I did want to go into higher learning and go to college and get the college experience. So I wouldn't say that I had anyone force me to go to college. It was more so of a personal thing because obviously with that trade, I could have went to the workforce directly right after college. So it was more so of a personal choice to go to college, and I was very infatuated with the field of psychology. That's something that I definitely did want to pursue. So that senior year, even in our shop, while kids were doing their work study and things like that, I was filling out the common applications and doing things like that and focusing on college. And I really appreciate my senior year shop teacher because he knew that necessarily some students in the class didn't want to go and pursue the field of HVAC. So he let us actually take that time to pursue more so of the college things that we needed to do. So like applications, getting our letter of recommendations and things like that. So he also helped me too. Like I said, the previous teacher I had before that he was more cut and dry. If you're in HVAC, that's where he wanted us to focus on. But my senior year shop teacher saw that it wasn't necessarily our best interest. So he definitely did help push us, a few students in the shop, to go the college route. So definitely, it was a cultivation of my senior year teacher and myself wanting to go to college.
Wow, wow, that's a great experience. In fact, I didn't even know that experience of vocational training in high school. So that's going to actually make our discussion even more important. So we'll come back to you with more questions on that. But for now, let's shoot up the question, same question to Miss Edith Oten. And why did you decide to go to college? Did your mom force you? Your mom right here. Or why did you go to college, basically?
I would say that it was more so an expectation, I would say, both in my high school and then also with both of you being my parents, that I would go to college. So it wasn't necessarily that I was forced, but because it was like the kind of like almost the expectation in my high school. Like they always boast that like 99% of their students get into college and go to college. So it was just something that was instilled from freshman year all the way to graduation. So um, that's why I decided to go. But then also because of my interests, like I just knew that I needed to have um, that college education in order to pursue medicine. So that's what.
All right, all right, all right. Thank you also for your input right there. I'm telling you, this show is hot today with diverse backgrounds and knowledge and stuff. And we have Miss Bridget Notte. Can you also tell us same question that Gifty gave you? Why did you go to college?
Yeah, so I would say that my reason is pretty similar to Edith's. I never felt forced to go to college, but there wasn't ever a time in my life where I didn't think that college was the next step for me after high school. That just seems like the path I was going to take from the time I was very young. And that was just in my mindset for where I would take my life direction. And similarly to Kobe and Edith, I knew that for what I wanted to do in the future in my career, I would have to go to college and then have to go to grad school as well. And so I knew that going to college would be the next step for me after high school to achieve my future endeavors.
I see. Do you have any follow up on that?
Yeah, so do you know of anybody or any of your friends that feel like college is not for them and they have a different path altogether? And if you do, were they being forced to do otherwise because they know deep down that college is not for them? Do you have any friends like that having the problem like college is not for them and they don't want to go, but they are being forced to go?
Any
I
one of
think
you can take it. Yes.
Yeah,
Go
I
ahead,
think
Bridget.
that in my high school, my senior year, there wasn't necessarily a push for everyone to go to college, and there was more of a language like some people might want to go into the workforce, and that's okay. So I know on our like college admissions or college decision day, they had like everyone had their school, but then there was also like celebrating. They were also celebrating the people who chose to go into the workforce, and so I think that was a positive way to cater to the fact that not every college isn't the right path for everyone. And so I think that in that environment, it was very like people can decide what they want to do for their own future. But I do know that there is pressure that some people have felt to attend college just because of the way society is set up.
All right. Did you want to add anything, Kobe, to that?
I'd say definitely in my earlier years of when I actually got to college, and now you're in everything and you have the work pile and everything, and you're on your own and you have to be responsible. I saw that some people definitely were only there just because of the external forces that they had, whether it be their parents or their own wanting to like societal pressures. So I definitely met a few individuals there at Southern that were definitely there for other reasons besides their own will to be there, and obviously you can assume that that had a negative effect on them throughout college. Generally with their mental, how happy they were doing or how well they're doing in the college. So I have quite a few individuals that were there for other reasons besides their own wanting to be there.
I see. Edith, did you come across anybody like that also? Or have you? Because you are still in college. Yeah.
Yeah, I would say that definitely not everyone in college wants to be there. And it's very evident by how they like how much effort they put into their work and in classes and such. Some people are in college because they need the training, but they don't. They need the certification, I guess, like the degree. But they were always going to do what they were going to do anyway. So it's kind of like a means to an end for some people, and it's evident. Um, yeah, that's all I would say.
I see. Wow, 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 wow. My goodness. All right. Now, let me come back to you, Kobe, on a follow up to what you said earlier on, because that's actually, I'm so happy that I got you on the live.
Right.
I didn't know that you went to a technical high school. Now,
Yep.
tell me that experience. Why? Well, the first question is, um, if you had you said that your mom your parents wanted you to be there because of the area. They don't like the high school in your area, and so they would rather choose a technical high school. Now, while you were there, do you find people who had been there by choice and who actually wanted to be vocationally trained rather than to go through the academic system in college?
Yeah, definitely. I'd say if the class had 20 students in it, about my shop, about more than half, I'd say maybe 70% wanted to stay in the trade. So we were definitely the minority that wanted to go to college. So definitely in the school wise, between the whole school, a lot of students wanted to pursue careers in the trades that they were in. So definitely those who went to college were, I'd say we were the minority of people of the demographic in the school.
I see. Do you have anything to ask him?
Okay.
All right. So before we have some questions here, but I just want to make sure we chip in anything. So I'll come to Bridget. So now we are talking about. You remember the topic, the title of our discussion is college overrated. That's what we we are dealing with, right? But you happen to have graduated. You have your undergrad, and now you are in your postgrad. So I'm pretty sure you have a different view of this topic. But why did you suddenly go back to college after your bachelor's when people are saying college may be overrated? We're going to talk about whether or not it is overrated when we see your opinion. But is there anything that made you, did you get forced into that because you needed something from college, or did you feel like you want to have advanced degree?
Yeah. So, as I mentioned before, for the profession that I want to go into, which is school psychology, you do need to have that master's and specialist degree, or a doctorate to practice in the field. And so it was kind of, I needed this extra degree to go to pursue that career. But the reason that I chose to go directly after undergrad, there were a few reasons. One of the reasons was because of, with COVID, a lot of schools weren't requiring the GRE. And so this school, I didn't necessarily have to take the GRE because standardized testing is something that I do struggle with. And so because we're still kind of in COVID times, a lot of schools weren't requiring the GRE for this school year. And so I didn't have to take it to attend grad school, and the other grad schools I applied to as well. And so that was one of the reasons. And then in addition, I felt that having a break, I didn't want to lose the momentum of going to school um, with having like a gap year or something like that. And I know gap years are very beneficial for a lot of people, but for me personally, I think going straight through and then just being done was something that I found to be more appealing. And so, yeah, I'll be in grad school for 3 years, and then I will be done and able to practice in the field.
Wow, wow, that's a dedicated young man. I guess. Okay, all right. Now let's move on with my formal questions that I've written down. Honey, you want to read the next one because I.
Okay. So, do you think the money spent on college was worth it? It was worth the knowledge and training you received. Do you
Yes,
think the money spent on college was worth the knowledge and training you received?
and we'll start with Miss Edith.
I think I'm not yet done, so maybe my perspective is will change in the future, but I do think it's worth it at the moment. In terms of like academics, you know, Penn is very overpriced. It's a very expensive school, but I would say that the professors are very knowledgeable in their fields, and they're definitely like the leaders in their fields. So I think being able to learn under like these people who are doing groundbreaking research is something that I would say is worth it. And then also being able to like just talk to them, acquire a lot of different mentors that are very accomplished is something that's also beneficial. And then beyond just the academic, I think being able to be surrounded by people who are also motivated and like just very capable individuals, I think also adds to the benefit of going to college. Since I'm still in it, I think that there's a lot more to be said about like maybe my network after I leave. Um, but right now, I think it has proven to be worth it, and hopefully, in the near future, I could say it'll even be more worth it.
Mm, nice.
All right, thank you for that. All right, all right, all right, all right. All right, I'll go to Kobe. You have been working for quite some time now.
Yeah.
Now, do you, what did you do again? I'm sorry. Can you tell us,
I do
please?
applied behavioral analysis. I'm a behavioral technician. So I work with autistic children.
Okay, good. Now, do you think, as Gifty said, do you think the time and money you spent in college is worth that knowledge and training you received for this job?
Well, I'd say I'm 50-50 on that line of yes and no. I've received a lot of training on the job that I've got that I didn't. We weren't even taught about the field of ABA in our psychology course when I was in college. So this was something that was brand new to me after college. So I had no prior knowledge or no prior teachings or courseworks in ABA. So pertaining to my job right now, I can say college really didn't help me in that sense. Obviously, having the psychological concepts down, yes, that helped me, and knowing information about the brain and how behavior works, yes, that helped me. But let's not forget, for the first 2 years of college, you're doing general studies, which pertain. I was doing taking classes on history, obviously math classes, which had nothing to pertain to the main coursework of psychology. So I'd say maybe if the general studies, if there was a way to go through the general studies quicker, like Southern, you had to take a language before. Obviously, Cheney Tech, I wasn't offered a language at Cheney Tech, so I couldn't take the stamp and test out of the stamp because I had no previous language before that. But for 3 semesters, I had to take Italian, and ask me how much I remember of Italian. Besides ciao and come stai, I don't know much. So it's like I was paying for those thousands of dollars for those courses that I had to take that I'd say I'm not necessarily using now. So in that sense, it wasn't worth it. But when you get in your junior and senior years, now your all your courses are major high level 400, 500 level psychology courses. Yes, that helps you a lot in the field and what you want to pursue. But not having any courses on ABA therapy, considering that that's the field that I'm in now, that really didn't help me in college, and that's where I can say it wasn't worth it. But if you are going to do something directly that you went to study in your undergrad, then I'd say for sure it's 100% worth it, that the money is going to be worth it, because the classes, the training that you get at college will pertain to the workforce or the job or the career that you want to do after that. So I think it's just of the alignment of what you want to do and things like that. So now I know that there are master's courses that when I do pursue my master's, I think I'm going to be ahead of the curve, considering I have been working in ABA therapy for 2 years now, that I feel as if somebody comes from their undergrad of psychology and wants to go to ABA therapy, some concepts and ideas are going to be a little harder for them to grasp, since they're not getting that firsthand experience like I have. The job is done very well at training me for even working with autistic children. I just seeing it firsthand is different than hearing it from a teacher and having that experience. So I believe the job definitely gave me more training than school did. But like I said, ABA therapy wasn't something that I even learned about in my undergrad. So that's my experience there.
All right. Now, you have a follow up?
Yeah, Kobe, I want to push back a little bit on
Yep.
you not getting everything from college. Because okay, let's take one of your friends that did not go to college, and you finishing college and placing you at this job. You think your performance is not going to be different from the person that did not get the higher college education? You think you'll be about the same? Because I feel like going to college kind of prep you for things ahead. So getting the basics, I feel like you are building on it. Though you didn't get the direct training, you've been set up brain wide, like intellectually, in a
Yeah.
different form that you are able to perform better than somebody who did not go to college at all. Do you agree with me in that
Yeah.
line?
I agree with you in that sense. Yeah, college definitely, I'd say it built up more soft skills to me for me too, that somebody might not have. Like you said, even independence has helped me with independence, responsibility, and things like that, punctuality. So, but if we're talking about direct training, direct
Mhm.
concepts of ABA therapy, um, I'd say not necessarily. And that's just pertaining to the field that I am. I assume Bridget would have a different opinion, because her undergrad and her master's kind of align more than what I did, in the sense that like I'm saying, I heard nothing about ABA therapy while my 2 years while in the psychology department. I didn't take one class of ABA concepts or ABA anything. So coming to the job, it definitely was shock, in the sense that if you've never worked with autistic children or had anything to do with applied behavioral analysis, I feel like I might have more soft skills than somebody, but the hard skills pertaining to the job, I think the playing field might have been a little even, or maybe I had the advantage wasn't that much, I'd say.
That
In
much.
that sense, yeah.
All right. My question was, can you tell me that at your current job, or the job you have now, are they able to employ people to the same position that you are, who have no college education or who don't have your degree?
You can still work there. Like I said, it's a lot of on training jobs. You get trained, you have to do 40 hours of training, then you have to take a test. You're assessed on your competency of how well you can do the job. We're under supervision of, everybody has a behavioral analyst that they're under, and they actually train you, and then you have to take a competency test with your client to see how well you are doing the ABA therapeutic services. And then you take your 40 hours of training. Then you take a test, a monitor test that comes from the board certified. And then after that, if you pass your test, then you are certified as a behavioral technician. And then after that, you have to be supervised. 5% of all the hours you spend with your client has to be supervised. And then after that, you fill out a log, which you can get audited by the analyst certification board, that is showing that, okay, you had this certain amount of hours that was supervised. But college degree isn't necessary. It's obviously recommended, but it's not a end all be all requirement.
All right, good to know. Good to know. All right, all right. You are doing good, guys. I am happy I got you on board today. Now, we're going to go to Miss Bridget Norte. Bridget, can you tell us about the same question that Gifty asked? Do you think your training, um, the money you spent, for your education, your bachelor's degree, is worth the training and the knowledge you have acquired? I know you haven't started working, but at least you are in your postgraduate program. Did they prepare you enough? Do you think that is worth that money spent?
Yeah, I do think so. As Kobe was saying, my bachelor's and my grad school align pretty well. And so right now I'm doing school psychology. And when I was in undergrad, I majored in psychology. And I also took a lot of classes in the education school. And so from that and the combination of those two departments and fields, I was able to kind of get a sense of where what I would be doing in like currently in my master's program. And my fourth year, my senior year of undergrad, I actually took a course that was pretty much an intro course for my current program. And so in that way, I feel academically, I feel like it did set me up because of the classes that I was able to take more my junior and senior year after I had finished my gen eds, because I was able to pick classes that I was interested in. And so things that were related to education or related to psychology or mental health, I was able to pick and choose the classes that I wanted to take that I knew would help me for my future career. And then also kind of pushing away from from academics. I think that, as Kobe was saying, like the soft skills that I gained in undergrad were also really helpful for both me as a grad student and just in general my growth as a person. And so I feel like in the different organizations I was a part of and the different parts of campus I found myself in, I also gained like a lot of leadership skills and communication skills with professors and other peers. And so those are things that have really helped me currently, and I think will continue to help me in my future position.
All right, all right, all right, all right. Good job on that too. All right, now, so far so good. From Kobe, we have learned that at least 50% of the money spent in obtaining his bachelor's has been
Worth
useful
it.
so far, right? So at least, right? It could be more, and he
It
also
could
made
be
a great
less.
point. It's also dependent on the kind of job you get. Maybe if he had gotten a job that needed his particular training, it would definitely be worth your while, right? In terms of full 100%. So that makes a lot of sense. All right. So if you are watching the show, I see some people on the live. Please click the thumb button, which is to say you like it, and click the share also to share with other people so that we can get more people discussing
You
this.
can also bring out your thoughts
Can
and
also
what
bring
you
your
think.
comments. Yes.
Mhm.
If you want us to ask them any specific question, if you send it, we may be able to actually read your question to them so that they can also uh, uh, do justice to it. So I see two thumbs up now, and I haven't seen any comments. I'll check my comments again. All right. So now, as far as Edith, your question is similar to them. We brought you on intentionally because there are people still in college who are still debating whether or not they should actually leave, if it's important or not. And so you are there. Now, my question to you is, you already have thought about what you want to do after your bachelor's degree. Now, do you think what you are paying for is giving you your money's worth? Or do you think that even it's not really worth it to do a long bachelor's degree, 4 years training, and then pursue a medical degree or any postgraduate degree? Maybe you should just forget about that because of your experience. Do you think it's worth it? You think you are learning enough things to prepare you for your postgraduate degree?
I think I talked a little bit about this
Mhm.
before, but I think in because of my future goals, I think it makes sense. But I think it ultimately depends on what a person is trying to do. Um, sometimes with certain degrees, like it might be more difficult to get a job, or if you know that you're able to get a particular job that you know you want from the beginning, it might be more favorable to maybe do a certification program or some kind of like training program in that case to get to that goal. So ultimately, I think it should be dependent on what the person wants to pursue. And then if that might be something that would require college and maybe further education, they should do that. I don't think anybody should avoid college. But also, there are other avenues that, if researched well, can be beneficial.
All right. Good point. Good point. Good
So
point.
my question, Edith, if maybe somebody is still undergrad, right, hasn't completed college yet, and they find out that they are interested in something else other than what they are going for, um, and they feel like whatever they are going for, they've lost interest. Is it okay for them to drop out of college and pursue that, or you would advise that they can complete it and build around it? You understand my question?
Mhm.
Yeah, I think I understand. I think um, depending on how far they are, that might change the answer. But I think going through with it might just be beneficial because you're there. And also, a lot of jobs nowadays just require the degree. They don't necessarily pay attention much to what the major is in. So having that degree to just fall back on, even if your major is not something you do want to pursue in the future, is beneficial. Like a lot of people at my school specifically major all across the board, but ultimately get very similar jobs because they're ultimately looking at the degree and not necessarily what you're majoring in. So if you're in a place where you're no longer interested in your major, and like I would say like maybe you're more than halfway done, I would just say finish, just to have that degree and still be able to pursue what you want to pursue after the fact.
All right. All right.
A lot of parents are going to be happy with you, Edie.
All right. All right. So back to you. Um, I'm going to throw a question and anybody can attack it now. My question is based on your answers, do you agree that college does not prepare you for 100%? Um, well, how should I put it? You don't get 100% benefit out of your money when you go to college. Do you agree if somebody says you will never get your money's worth? If you paid this money, make sure, just think that at least 50% of it is going to be beneficial or 80%. You are never going to really say that this thing I got in college got me this. Do you agree? And if you agree, explain. If you don't, explain, please. We start with Kobe.
Um, it's a very subjective question. I don't think this is a it's going to be case by case. So obviously, I feel as if everybody should choose a major that they really want to do and love, so they don't fall out of it, like how we were talking about. But in the sense of getting your money's worth, I think I don't want to seem like I'm gonna have this old way of thinking. Obviously, there's like Edith said, there's a plethora of majors that you can go into, but we should just know that and realize the marketability of the job after definitely affects, I think, how you view your college experience. Some markets are open for jobs where the turnover is very high. Right after you get out of your undergrad, you can get a job, a high paying job, if that's what you want. And then there's some where obviously you're going to need the further education because you need more knowledge on that field. So I think if you're in like a nursing major, let's say, I know a lot of nursing majors after their undergrad, they're already working in hospitals and doing things like that. So that turnover is very fast. So like computer science, after you get your certifications in computer science, you can go into the field and make a lot of money. Whereas maybe if you have a degree in maybe like art history or music or anything like that, it might be a little more hard to make the money that, let's say, you want to make or the money that you see other people make in other fields. So I think what you major in has an effect on how you view it, just because of the marketability and the job market and how jobs are nowadays. But again, I think you should do what makes you happy. Should be at the forefront too, because you want to be happy throughout college. I don't think college should be a miserable experience for you, that you're going through classes that you absolutely hate, and then you're gonna have to pay the money back for it, and you feel like, oh my gosh, I did all this in vain. So I think you just knowing what you want to do, and if that's what you want to do, going through with it. But you just have to come to realization that the market might not be favorable to you after.
All right, all right, all right, all right, all right. That is deep. That is deep. All right. So back to you, Edith. What do you think about that question?
Yeah, I just wanted to touch on something that Kobe said. And I think in relation to like picking your major, it's important to like maybe focus on something that you're passionate about. But in terms of marketability, as long as you are taking the classes relevant to what you might want to pursue in the future or what might be marketable, I guess, you can demonstrate that in like your interviews and stuff like that. I'm saying because a lot of my friends are like majors that like they're Spanish majors, for example. They're African American studies majors, but they are pursuing like medical school, economics and stuff like that, because they're just doing that in addition to like what they're actually interested in. And in that respect, like they're able to translate their passions into their education, but then also have like the benefit of getting additional um, like knowledge for the future that would also pay them a lot of money, I guess. Um, yeah.
All right, good job there too. All right, bring it back to you on that same line. Do you agree to that statement that I made? College is really, you know, maybe 50%. You don't put all your eggs in one basket. You know what I'm saying? As people say. Do you agree to that statement, or do you feel it's 100%? Now, apart from your experience, I know now you can speak to your own experience, but overall. And by the way, when you talk, not just for you, but think about all the others, because other people may not be in your own shoes, like in terms of what you've done. Yeah. So overall, do you think college is worth it in terms of the money you pay?
Yeah, I think that similar to what Edith and Kobe said, I think that college is worth it if you take the time and spend your time at college doing what you're passionate about and doing what you're actually interested in, care about. Because I feel like your time spent in college, if you're doing something that you're not interested in or something that you feel is not something that doesn't spark your interest, I feel like you'll be very miserable and not really be able to engage with the content and also engage in the other experiences that you have at college as much if you're just kind of doing it to get it over with and just doing classes because you think it's going to make you a lot of money or something like that. But I feel like having interest in what you're doing is really important, and also taking care of yourself throughout the college experience and taking care of your mental health and your physical health is also really important to making college 100% worth it. So that's just my opinion on that.
All right, all right, all right. That makes a lot of sense.
Oh,
Do you have anything to
no, we're
add?
good.
All
Let's
right.
go.
So we will move forward then. Now, last I think was about last two shows. I was trying to actually go online to pull up data from the Department of Labor Statistics, and they have a huge data about some jobs that you don't need college education for. That makes you upwards of $100,000. But to be an airline pilot, did you guys know you don't need a bachelor's degree? Yes, and they are making $99,000 a year for that. Now, I'm not going to waste your time by pulling that data to show you. There are other jobs out there in construction, in engineering mechanics, where people train like 2 years or maybe a year, couple of months, and all they require is high school diploma. Now, why am I saying this? I want you to think about those and then educate us. Having gone to college up to this point, some of you already working in the workforce. Do you think it is worth it, or college is overrated? Do you think that people can just make it in life without having to go to college? And if you think so, what is your reasoning? If you don't think so, what is your reasoning? I'll start with Kobe again. Kobe.
Yeah. Access to knowledge definitely has changed my opinions on this topic. Before, I used to think that college was the end all. At least you needed to go to college to get your foot in the door. And now that I'm seeing that that necessarily isn't true, I wouldn't want to use the word overrated, but I'd say it's not it's not the end all be all if you don't go to college, in the sense that you can still, like you said, there's a lot of jobs out there that require no college education, because the training on task, on force, is enough that there's going to be a lot of opportunities for you to either develop within the job and work up in the job, or you're going to get the training that you need within the job. So before I went to college, I didn't necessarily know that if I pursued HVAC, maybe I can be my own boss and start my own LLC and have my own heating and air conditioning company that would have required no college. But then somebody can say, hey, maybe if you took business, though, you'd know how to better maneuver and manage that business. So it's something that you can pull from both areas. So I think I wouldn't say it's overrated in that sense, but it's not, you shouldn't look at it as if I didn't go to college, I'm a failure, or if I didn't go to college, that I won't be able to make money or make the money that you want to make, in that sense. So I'd say it's just it's a very subjective thing, that it's, you have to see what pertains to you and what you want to do, in the sense that it's not one size fits all. You know, somebody's journey isn't going to be the same. Everybody has a different journey throughout life, and some people's journey requires them to go to college, or some people's journeys require them not to go to college. And obviously we have different results from our past of our journeys, but I don't think it's necessarily on something that everybody needs to go to college. Obviously, the culture that we come from, college is heavily influenced and is something that's heavily encouraged to do. But I think that even the parents are starting to become hip, or turn a new leaf, to see that college necessarily isn't everything, in the sense that there are different jobs that you can do to attain the money that you need to attain. So I'd say it's subjective, but it's, college isn't the end all be all in that sense.
All right, all right. I like that answer too. All right, so Edith, what do you think?
I think I agree with everything Kobe said. One thing that I was taught during my time, like tutoring high schoolers, as we're getting them prepared to apply to college, we found that when you tell students that college is the only option and they just feel like they can't really do it, they tend to think that like there's nothing else to do, which is not necessarily the truth. I think as long as, like, if you do decide not to go to college for any reason, as long as you do have some kind of like structure or like goals set out and plans set out after high school, it's going to be more beneficial for you to go through that path than to say I'm not going to college and then not have anything like set up after the fact. So giving people information about like these certification programs and like training programs that exist for people who come straight out of high school might be beneficial to push in the future if like people continue to say that college is not worth it. But I think, in my opinion, I think college is worth it because not only are you getting ready or like increasing the amount of knowledge you have, like increasing the amount of knowledge you have access to, you're also like growing as a person. So you're discovering new interests. You have the ability to explore different academic interests. So even if you came into college feeling like you had no passion, potentially going to college would allow you to see like something that you haven't even been exposed to that might help you develop a sense of what you want to do in the future. So I think college is beneficial in the fact that like you're able to grow there, you're able to learn more about yourself, also be on your own, but also like in a bubble still, without being like a full adult, I would say. Um, but yeah, if you don't want to go to college, having a plan and having a like tangible like list of things you're going to do is going to ultimately benefit you as well.
All right, all right, all right. Bridget, Miss Bridget Naughty, what do you think? You don't think people are wasting their money and time? You know, I mean, I'm talking from experience too. You know what I'm saying? I spent about 7 years in college. I don't know if it was worth it.
Yeah.
All right, Bridget. Yeah, let's hear you.
Edith touched on something that I was going to say. Basically, I think that if you're looking solely at the financial aspect of it and like getting a certain amount of money, there is, I guess, an argument for people to say that college is overrated or not worth it because you are able to make the same like amount of money as
Mhm.
you would not going to college. But I think that there's so much more than the money that you get from college or get from a job that doesn't um, require a college degree. And so Edith was talking about like the growth you have, the individual growth that you have, and also like the connections that you make, and just being able to like dip your toes in different fields and different things. And like even with thinking about like the gen eds, like there's a lot that you can learn from the gen eds, even if it's not something that you want to pursue. Just like information that you get from those classes, and also like study tips and study practices, and kind of learning how to learn in a way, is something that I feel like I also gained in undergrad. And so not looking solely at the financial aspect of like going to college and what you can get, and going not taking the college route, um in the financial aspects of that, I think that going to college, there is so much more that you can learn, but at the same time, there's also other avenues for you to gain that like those soft skills and that other type of knowledge outside of a college setting. And so kind of creating those experiences for yourself, if you choose not to go to college, if you feel like that's not the path for you, I think that the structure that Edith talked about is really important. And then also like structuring in ways for you to continue to learn and continue to grow, even if you're not in that college environment, would be very beneficial.
All right, all right. Man, you are smart young people here. All right. So actually, you touched on my next question. So I'm just going to go ahead and throw that question out, and I'll start off with Edith. So apart from the academic life, is there any other benefit that you think you are getting from college education? And with that, I think she touched on some of them: social, health, and connection, whatever it is. Do you think there are some benefits that you have gotten or you continue to get from college that you can convince somebody who is saying that, oh, college is overrated, and tell them that, hey, it's not just for the knowledge and training. These things I also got. Can you tell us some?
Yeah, I think just in terms of maturing away from what you would consider home, if you are away from home, is something that college has given me. Also, just developing a sense of like self and identity is very important. And it can honestly really just be done when away from what you are typically used to. Um, yeah. And then in terms of like the social, just how you navigate different relationships on your own, how you introduce yourself, even just how to like dress. I don't know. A lot of different things came from college. And I think being able to do that in a kind of like a bubble, I would say, in like a way that's like still separate from like I guess the real world, but like you're still on your own in a way, is really beneficial for me, and I think is something that I would have only been able to get from going to college away from home.
That's beautiful. That's really beautiful. All right, so come back to you, Kobe. What do you think about that? Is there any other thing apart from your skills for your job that you think college gave you that people who don't go to college will be missing out on?
Yeah, of course. I was actually a resident advisor for 2 years, my last 2 years in college. So I think I didn't have necessarily the typical just academic student experience in college. So I got a lot of opportunities in leadership roles. Obviously, I had about 30 individuals that I was technically responsible for at a time. So I definitely got skills of like you said, leadership skills, the soft skills, and you learn independence in that sense. I never was as independent as I was at college. There was about 2 years during college that I actually stayed on campus for 2 whole years that I didn't actually come home because I was working on campus over the summer too. So it really taught me a lot of independence and things like that. It definitely built up my social skills, and it definitely helped me learn how to talk to, I guess, to say the higher ups in the in the sense of the residential life. That's where I worked at. Being the resident advisor, I definitely got a lot of skills in that sense. I was meeting people that I feel I never would have met if I wasn't a resident advisor, like direct meetings with the dean of academics, the president of the school, obviously my hall directors and things like that. So definitely being a resident advisor definitely showed me the other sides of academics. We had to put on programs, 2 programs every month So it definitely taught me how to run programs. Even as simple as sending emails more professionally, it definitely helped me learn that. So I definitely chop up a lot of my soft skills experience to being a resident advisor at school, and I'm very grateful for it too. So, and obviously it helped me with the cost of college. So I don't want to look at it as if my college experience, I didn't really pay, I don't want to say that much, but compared to a lot of other people, because as a resident advisor, I was able to live on campus for free. So that definitely took off a lot of
Wow,
the cost.
that's a huge saving, man. That's a huge saving. Wow.
Definitely.
All right,
So,
keep
and
going.
Southern, as it was, since it was a state school, it wasn't as expensive as some of the other private schools or anything like that. So even I feel like I didn't spend that much money in college, but I still can see how some people would say it is overrated and things like that. So, but I'd say for other skills besides academic, definitely being a resident advisor helped me gain other skills, the soft skills. So,
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Now, I didn't have this question, but I'm going to throw it in there because it just came up and it is really bothering me. Do you feel the tuition that these institutions are charging, it's way too high? Because I remember just a few years when I was there, all they did was just build a few new buildings, and then the tuition and everything went up. Do you think they're overcharging? I think there's a conversation out there. I think college is too expensive these days, and it's just going up for no reason. Do you agree with me in your view?
yeah, I'd say in the sense that it's a little, the government should look at it differently, as in we're 17, 18, now we're going to accrue thousands of dollars of debt. That I think maybe there should be more of a vetting process. I know on FAFSA they give you this little worksheet that this is what you're doing and this is how it's going to work repaying and everything, and that's nice and all, but nobody's really thinking about that when they take out the loans and things like that. So I think it's a lot of responsibility to put on a young adult at that time to take out 20, 25, $30,000 in loans and then have to use that to obviously further their education, but then have to pay that back later in that sense. So at my times I saw that, I think like you said, they might have built maybe two buildings at the 4 years I was there, and that inevitably raised tuition up. And tuition will go up thousands of dollars every semester. And I'm thankful that I had a lot of help from outside sources, because obviously I wasn't working my first 2 years. So my mother definitely helped me out a lot. And I'm thankful for that support system. But I definitely knew a lot of students that didn't have that help, that actually had to drop out because the cost was too much. And these are students that were doing very well in college, very well. And seeing the stress, and obviously me being an RA, I had more of a direct role in some of my residents' lives, and they come to me for advice and things like that, just to talk and get some stress off of them. And they didn't know how they were going to pay for the next semester and things like that. So I can see how that can definitely be a stressful situation for them. So, but like I said, I didn't really see why tuition would have raised up that much, and even that little $2,000, $3,000 increase can push some a certain demographic of students out, because that $2,000, $3,000 increase, that was it. They didn't have that much money ever. So it's like, oh, now his tuition's gone up $3,000. I don't know how I'm gonna come up with the extra $3,000 now. So now they have to drop out and, let's say, go somewhere else. So
Wow, wow, that's very insightful, man. You got to run for office or something, man. You know the problems that people are facing. That's how we make leaders, right? People who are on the on the ground, dealing with people. And I like and I appreciate the fact that you saw people going through that. People actually leave in college just
Mhm.
because they can make it with a few increase in tuition. That's very revealing. All right. So, ladies, what do you think in the same respect? Do you think college tuition is too high these days? Are they doing something that is so artificially inflating the cost of college?
I'll say yes. I think some of the prices have just gone beyond what they actually provide. Um, and I think I don't know if it's because of inflation or what, but there has been a steady increase. Like there's actually an expected increase every single year to tuition, and they always project out like it's probably going to be like $3,000, $5,000 more each year. And I think, like, in a sense, it might be artificial, um, and definitely an issue for a lot of people. But I also think that to a certain degree, depending on the school, like the prices go up, but a lot of times, like there are, um, like depending on the school, like if it's like need blind, or like they make sure, or like they make sure they meet you at your need, there's limited increase in terms of how much like the individual who is receiving financial aid um feels the effect. But like if you aren't in that demographic, I would say then you would feel the full effect. um, but yeah, at least at my school, it seems like even with the rising sticker price, what is actually paid by most students is lower and more consistent, if that makes sense.
I see. What do you think, Bridget? I know you just got out. I'm hoping that you, obviously, you are not regretting because you said good stuff about what you learned. But what do you think about the cost? You think it's artificially inflated? You think it's too much? It's too higher than what they should actually be charging?
Yeah, I think that the costs of college is kind of outrageous. It's like it's so much, and yes, college is. I don't think college is overrated, but I do think that the price of college is more expensive than it needs to be for what you're getting from it. I think the price is a lot, and the financial burden that going to school and attending college has that financial burden in addition to like the academic burden and the other burdens students are facing at school. I think it just is very overwhelming for students. And I was fortunate enough to have like a full tuition scholarship for my undergrad, and so the tuition part wasn't really something I had to worry about, but there still was a lot of other expenses that had to be thought about in attending college. And so like I don't remember, I think my undergrad was anywhere from like maybe like 60 plus $1,000 a year. I'm pretty sure it was more than that, but in like in tuition and all the other expensive and expenses. And yes, it's like a good school that I went to, and there are a lot of other opportunities that I had because I went to that school. But I do feel like that price is very high for like a lot of students, and that's it's kind of unattainable. It's unattainable to many people, and it's kind of I think it's unfair to think that students can pay that amount and like have that burden of loans, as Kobe was saying, at the ages of like 18 through 22. If you're a traditional student, to have that burden of loans at that young age, I think it's unfair to put that pressure on students on top of all the other pressures that they have, even just attending college, the academic sides of it.
Wow. Wow. I hope the leaders are going to be taking note of your concerns because I mean politicians have been saying it, but if it comes from the students who are there, I mean, I just shook by when you said $60,000 a year for a young lady. They don't think about it like it is your burden. They think it's the parents' burden, and so they don't care to increase it. But ultimately, it is your burden because if we, the parents, pay, guess what? We're going to lose our savings, and you're going to have to take care of us when we retire. All right, so it's still your burden, and so I hope that they can do something about it because I have seen it go up if, in my days. I mean, even right from those days, and I can't imagine when it's going to stop. When the college president will say that the only time we're going to increase cost for students is every 5 years at least. But right now it seems like there's no ceiling anywhere. It just keeps going up. But thanks for all your views. The last but one question is
What would you do differently if you are now going to college?
what would you do differently if you were now a high school senior, knowing all that you know now, especially the fact that you could get some well-paying jobs? Would you still go to college? What would you do different? Or if you would, what would you still do differently with your college education? Maybe you would have done something else. So yeah, the floor is open. I'll start again from Kobe.
Yeah. What I do differently? Definitely, I think there's a lot of scholarship opportunities. So my due diligence in researching more so of obviously you have to take that step yourself, but researching more opportunities of how to get more grants in a way, more scholarships to help take off the prices or the costs like that. I'd say definitely. I think if money is tight and things like that, the community college route is not a bad route to go through too. You get your associates, and then you can actually. I know Manchester Community College is a very good college with the transition after you get your associate's degree. They do very well at helping you get to a traditional university or 4 year college after that, and that actually helps save a lot of the cost for that. So I think that's something that a lot of students should look into. I know there might be a little bit of a stigma of going to a community college, but I don't think there's anything wrong with that. So that's something that personally I think could have helped cut the costs because, like you said, your first 2 years, it's going to be mainly or more so general studies classes. So, you're taking your history, you're taking, I was taking anthropology, I was taking religious studies classes in my first 2 years that really didn't have to do necessarily anything with what I wanted to do later on. So, and I was paying tens of thousands of dollars for those classes my first 2 years, where you can go to the community college and pay, let's say, a couple $1,000s for that and still get your grants that it can actually be relatively free. Or even if you do have to take a loan for that, I'd rather so take a $2,000-3,000 loan than a $10,000-15,000 loan just to take general education classes. And then after your community college, you can then go to the college that you want to go to if the credits will transfer and things like that. So that's something that definitely, if I could go back, I wanted the experience of living on campus though. So that's where I had to have things like that.
Don't we all want that experience?
If you are able to hold off on that experience and then push it on for later on into the college experience, then yeah, definitely, I think community college is something that a lot of people should look into, regardless of how it's viewed or things like that. It's going to save you so much in the long run too. So, and you're going to get the same education too. College is college, so
Definitely, definitely, I agree. In my class, there were people who had community college education who graduated with me, and I'm pretty sure their loans were way lower than I had, and so I agree with you definitely. All right, so let's go to let's Bridget. What would you do differently if you were going back to college?
I think that for me, one thing that I would have done differently, kind of before the college process, is I would have tried to be more open to applying to more out of state schools. And so I did go to a school in Virginia, which is like 500 miles from home, but it wasn't necessarily something that I was very open to when I was a senior in high school, just because I would say I'm pretty introverted and I am a homebody and I really like doing things that I'm familiar with. And so I kind of had an aversion to going to a school that was so far away from home. But I do feel like having the opportunity to step out of my comfort zone and meet a bunch of different people that I would have never met, going to a state school and staying at a school with a bunch of people who I went to high school with. I feel like the experiences I got from being so far removed from home was just really beneficial for me, in that sense, and also in the sense that I learned how to be more independent and learned how to do things on my own, and also just communicate and advocate for myself as an individual. And so I think that I would have been more open, or wanted to be more open to applying to other schools that were out of state, and like farther away from Connecticut. But I feel like that experience that I got from going to an out of state school is something that was really helpful for me and my growth, and just learning how to speak more, and just be more sociable and things like that, and learn how to communicate better. Because I feel like before college, I was not very good at those things. But when you're so far from home, there's really no one to speak for you. And so I was kind of forced to do that. And so I really appreciated that part of my college experience. And I think that that would be something that I would have liked to be more open to as a high school senior.
Oh, that's beautiful. That's beautiful. That's great. All right. What about you, Edith? What would you do different, or is there anything you would do different?
I think similar to Kobe, I would definitely look into applying for like more scholarships and things like that, and becoming more aware of like what opportunities were out there for scholarships. I was like under the impression that I didn't qualify for a lot of them, so I just didn't apply. And then when I got to school, I hear of all these stories of people like finessing the system essentially, and getting these scholarships that like I just read the fine print and I was like, well, I don't apply. A lot of them just applied anyway, and because there were a limited number of applicants and they were qualified, they got the scholarship. So that's one thing I would change. And then also just trying to remind myself to remain confident, in terms of like the schools I applied to, and then also just confidence going into the school. Because I think as a high school senior, I lacked that like element of my confidence, and that made me a little bit shy in how I navigated college in the beginning. But comparing my senior self to my senior self now, I guess, I've definitely grown and seen that I'm capable of doing anything that my peers are doing, and even more. So just those two things.
All right, that's good. Okay. Now we are running out of time, so we have one last question for you, and then we will let you go. And I appreciate you giving us almost 2 hours of your time here. So we're going to start with Bridget this time. If you have any advice for, I know it's similar to what you said you would probably do different. What kind of advice would you give to people? First, two groups of people: people who are debating on going to college or not, and people who have come out of college and who are also probably regretting that they spent all these years and money, and they feel like they wasted their time. What advice would you have for those? And everybody will answer this, and then we'll break the show down.
Okay, so for the first group of people, so are people who are debating whether or not to go to college.
Mm-hmm.
I would say I've said this in multiple answers to my questions before, but I would say really think about what your passions and what your interests are, and if college would give you the opportunity to pursue that in a way that would be beneficial to you. And so if your future career goals do require a college degree, I would say go for it. If your career, or if you just have a interest in gaining more knowledge and gaining more independence and things like that, that can be done with college, but it can also be done out of college. And so I think really reflecting on your interests and reflecting on your goals that you have in your life, will be really beneficial in understanding if college will be the right thing for you to do. And then the second question was for people who went to college and aren't sure if it's worth it.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I'm not really sure what to say to people who don't think it's worth it. But it's a valid question. I mean, it's a valid opinion, and I do think that there are people who don't think college is worth it for many valid reasons. Because the thing is that a lot of people, due to societal pressures, were pushed into the college realm because they felt like that was the only path that they had, or felt like that's what they needed to do because everyone around them was doing it. But I would say, even if you feel like you regret it now, take advantage of the fact that you spent 4 years in a college and that you have a bachelor's degree. Because even if you don't want to pursue the thing that you studied in college, as I think Edith or Kobe was saying earlier, there's a lot you can do just having the bachelor's degree, not necessarily focusing on what your major was, but just having that degree and using it to your advantage to pursue whatever you are now interested in. I think that's really important, and it could help you to feel as though your degree is worth it, even if you feel like your experience wasn't necessarily what you wanted it to be.
Beautiful. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. That was beautiful. Thank you. All right. Now, in that order, let's go to Edith. What would you say to a person about to go to college or debating whether or not to just spend all these years, or a person who is about done and thinks like it may have been a waste of time? What do you think? What do you say to them?
I think to the first group, I would say, just to remember that ultimately what you decide is what you make of it. So if you do decide to go to college and you are debating whether or not it will be worth it, if you go in with the mindset that you want to make the time there and the money that spent on it worth it, you can really find ways to make every penny count. You can take advantage of all the resources your school provides. You can take advantage of the professors, the jobs offered, the free events, the free food. Like there are just so much things that you can really like.
It's free food, right?
Yeah,
All right, keep
like
going.
there are so many things that you can really like take advantage of to make sure that ultimately your time there is not like spent. anyhow. And that includes like taking many classes, just becoming a well educated individual. Um, I think that's what I would say to somebody debating. And then ultimately, if you do decide that it's like still not worth it in that respect, I think just making sure you have a well thought out plan, people to hold you accountable, a support system, stuff like that, just to make sure that even if you aren't going to college, you still have some sort of plan to get you to your end goal. And then to the second group, I would say, um, sorry, but also like I I would say what Bridget said, echo what Bridget said. Trying to leverage your bachelor degree any way you can, and then also just maybe call upon your peers who might have had a better time in college and try and like work those networks. I would say, um, yeah.
All right, all right, all right, all right. Thank you for that. All right, now it's back to you, Kobe. What would you tell such a person?
Yeah, say if you're senior year of high school, I'd say definitely take advantage if your school brings you to the college fairs. Ask the reps the pressing questions. Get everything off your chest that you need to get off your chest. Don't be afraid to ask them any questions. You can even ask them if they believe college is overrated and see what their answers would be and things like that. And I think getting the proper knowledge and researching what you want to do, because I know some people went to college for things that uh, in their field that they didn't even need a degree to go to. You know what I'm saying? They could have done that, just gotten the certifications online, and then they would have been in their field. So in that sense, yeah, definitely do the prior knowledge before you get there and you feel like, all right, I'm spending this thousands of dollars, and now you realize in your junior year that, oh, I didn't even need a college degree necessarily, because I feel like it's those things that make somebody look as if it's a waste of money or waste of time and things like that. So definitely, I think look inward. Really know what you want to do before you go, and definitely hone in on what you want to do. If it's your passion, definitely go for your passion, but have that outline planned for. I know it's thinking 4 or 5 years ahead in the future, but it's important to plan your future and think, all right, these are the necessary steps that I'm going to take while I'm in college, and these are the steps I'm going to take while I'm outside of college. So just having a plan of what you want to do and a course of action before you get there will obviously put you ahead of the field. Now, those that are feeling as if they've already wasted money or college is a waste, I mean, I feel like definitely finish your degree and things like that. But life isn't always linear. You know, it's gonna have dips and curves and things like that. So obviously, a career change isn't the worst thing. I don't think you should feel as if I got my degree in this certain field, I have to stay in that field. So you can definitely find other ways to have a career change. Let's say if you do art and now you want to do IT, or you do psychology now you want to do IT. IT necessarily doesn't require a college degree; it's a certification. So there are a lot of fields that are willing and open to that career change. So I don't think you shouldn't get discouraged that I wasted my money, I wasted my time on this degree, and I'm not even using it. You look for other opportunities for career development or career changes. I know there's a lot of people that were doing things before that they had a whole different career change, and now they're actually happy and making more, or they're just happy in the field that they're in now. So just having an open mind and not being discouraged that you feel as if I wasted my time and I wasted my money after. So
Wow, 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 wow. Wow. That is good. That is good. Man, you guys are so smart. You just got out of college, what? The tops is what, 2 years or so? And you are giving real life experience examples and advice that is going to benefit a lot of people. And we do really appreciate your time. I know you guys are all busy. Today is Christmas, and Merry Christmas to you all. Merry Christmas to you all, and also to the viewers. We thank you so much for giving us such valuable and invaluable time of your day on Christmas Day to talk about these issues. And we're definitely going to get back to you at some point later in life, and no, not later in life. I mean soon. And I see people are giving you thumbs up because
Yep.
they all like what you say. A lot of people are going to benefit from this. If you're a parent and you are watching, make sure you share this with your kids, even if they are not yet going to college, high school kids, or even if you are also a parent or a young person who is considering a college degree or a career, this is going to help you. We also have other videos on our channel where, as I alluded to, we actually talked about specific career paths that can make you money, that can make you excel without spending the money, because some of us are old. There's no way we can go back to college. And so for those people, you can change your career. Like Kobe said, you don't have to give up. There's always a second chance, and there's always a third chance. Even if you change your career once and you still feel like you can change, you can do that. So watch the videos and also take the advice and share with other people. We really appreciate you once again. Thank you, Miss Bridget Norte. Thank you, Miss Edith Oteng, and thank you, Mr. Kobe Apia. And as we always say, beloved, we wish above all things that you prosper and be in health,
in good health,
even as your soul prospers. Thank you, and
thank you so much, guys.
have a good day.
We
Guys, you stay
appreciate
on.
you.
Don't leave yet. We're going to have a chit chat with you.